Just a second there, I'm just trying to get it on my. Good. All good? Can you all wave your hands? Good. Can you all give a big round of applause to the Carols and the audience? The biryanis? Of course, I would laugh if someone comes and gives a biryani to my kid. So that is, I have biryani. Correct? So someone would care about the parents as well. So, now, just want to go to a point where what caught my attention was a few years back I was attending a play like this during Christmas. And the play was, I don't know how many have heard about the truths in Christmas. Anyone watched a live opera play like that anytime? Or you do many times? No one? Right? This was like something that happened during the First World War. Right? Next slide, please. A son actually sends a letter to his mother on December 26th. Right, and the letter goes like this. I'll read it out. Okay, guys? Yeah. Dear mother, this was on December 26th, 1914, First World War and there was a hardcore war happening between the Britishers and the Germans. Now, this letter is written by, I think, Henry Williamson to his mother. He was a soldier for Britain, and this is the letter he has got. I am writing from the trenches. In my mouth is a pipe. In the pipe is a tobacco. Of course, you say, but wait. Like if you say, your mom, I'm having a cigarette in my mouth, mom would say what? Of course, correct? I don't know whether you mom. Do you have mom who might say that, right? Seeing you, how good you are, right? So the same mom here, of course, you say. But wait. In the pipe is a German tobacco. Now comes interesting, right? You say from a prisoner or found in captured French, because mother might not think like son would write a letter from German prisoners as early as now, correct? Now, it might be that you found a German prisoner, or you are not from a German soldier. Yes, a live, not a dead soldier. Yes, a live German soldier from his own French. Yesterday, the Britishers and Germans met and shook hands on the ground between the trenches and exchanged souvenirs and shook hands. Yes, all day Xmas Day, and as I write, marvelous is it. Isn't it marvelous? Guys, getting the story? This happens live right when the First World War kicked off. Staunch winter, you know how the winter is, right? Soldiers on the both sides are shivering and shoot at sight, see you some, shoot them down. Now, out of a blue, a German soldier comes out of the trench. And he comes out with a white flag. But I don't know whether this happens like if a soldier comes out on Pakistan border and our guys would, But for whatever reason, the Britishers didn't shoot it down. Instead, the Britishers came out, put down their gun, and go and shook the hand with a German soldier. And the rest of the next day this day full, they had cigars in bottom. The chap is mentioning over here, they had black coffees and they shook their hands and had a great Christmas. And a son sends a mail to his mom saying, Mom, this is something happened on this Christmas for me. Have you ever wondered how could this even happen? Okay? You know how staunch was First World War? In midst of all chaos, can this ever be happening? And that's where that took my mind, right? When you guys are here, you guys are watching the choreos, maybe there might be cakes and cokes after this. I don't know, right? There might be some sort of fun after this. But would you be able to come out of a trench, facing your enemy liners, with all the trust that this guy is not gonna shoot me down? With me all? Right? How could Christmas do that? How could Christmas do that? That the extreme enemy just comes out, shake their hands, and they just love one another. And that makes a history. I want to give my hint. How come Christmas be a miracle? How can it be a miracle like this? Right? Why did Christmas become a miracle like this? You know, next slide. Yeah. And that's where I remember a parable, an ant parable. Have anyone watched or heard about or studied about an ant parable? No one, right? Right? I'll just go to the ant parable. It's funny, right? This is how it goes. For the next 2 minutes or 5 minutes, think all of you guys are ants. Okay? You can't say okay after that. Right? You don't speak me, right? Right? So, okay? You can't do that, right? Now, all of you guys are ants. Now, I am human. You guys are?
And
I don't expect a reply from you guys. I'm a human. You know, you guys, ants, you guys don't know humans, by the way, right? We're much smarter. You guys cover maybe 1 kilometer in your lifetime. We cover 42 kilometers in a day if you want. If you are not like me, not having a good stomach, like if you are athletes and all, you make full marathons, right? Now, I'm going to give you some level of information that makes your life better. Fair enough? Next slide. We humans have found this in our
it's great.
recent studies. This is called quantum mechanics. X equal to Y and Y equal to Z.
Huh?
You learn it? You got it? You understand it? I think answer on that. Answer on that. Let me get it a little more similar. Can you just go to the next slide?
Oh.
Important people on our side. Okay? Because if you want to know human beings, you have to know the big shots on our side, correct? This guy, you know this guy?
Of course.
This guy says something, price of Bitcoin goes up. This guy says something down, it goes down. Correct? He tweets, something happens. He doesn't tweet, nothing happens, right? This is Elon Musk. You guys know Elon Musk?
Yes. Boss.
I don't expect you guys to reply.
We are ants now.
Oh, damn,
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe I can introduce few more guys. This guy who is with Einstein, I want to introduce a famous person today.
Wait, it's not right.
Right? I think let's give that. Let's go next.
Who is
I've been studying you guys since a long time. In our coffee table or in our evening snacks, we generally used to have sugar, we used to have donuts. And after some time, I do see parts of the donuts disappearing. And I always had this desire to tell you, I don't know whether you guys knows about diabetes. You guys are eating all the sugar. My recommendation for you guys is you guys have to try something like this. Your life expectancy right now might be 2 months, but you just don't know, you follow the diets, you probably can live 3.5 months. Getting? Do I look like a fool telling all of this to an ant? A little bit, correct? I have a feeling, correct? I'm making more of a fool like me, making an effort to tell ants something really good for them, but they just don't, are pure pity ants. Correct? Let's go to the next slide. Probably let me start with simple things. This is called letters. English alphabet. Okay, probably I'll start with simple one. Let's start with A. A for ants. Agree? A for ant. You all may be wondering, why am I trying to do over here, right? How many of you things like that? Let's come out of the ant shell right now. This is nothing to do with Christmas and you guys have something else to do, right? Probably I should sing some Santa, do some Santa. But I want to tell you guys, this exactly is Christmas. Get it? Anyone getting? I know you none of you are getting. I'm telling you something interesting. If I want to tell this ant, you guys something, the best and the most effective way is that I become an ant. I come to you, I live with you, I talk to you, I give whatever that I want to convey to you. That makes the best way of communication. And Christmas is God's effort to talk to man. God probably could put his quantum mechanics out there and look at all of us humans. We would not understand anything. God probably put the best diet out there and said, this is exactly better than keto. We might not understand. God is taking an effort to come to human and tell us what he wants us to say, wants us to know. With me all? With me all? Now, next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell 3 things that God wanted to tell us as humans by becoming a human. You're interested to know or not? Or you just want cakes and cokes and go back? Huh? 3 things. It might take 3 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. Right? Point number 1. So what is Christmas about? God becoming. You take a capsule. God capsule. Capsule, right? Pack into something short, small. Capsule into a human. God capsule into a human. For 3 things. Next slide, please. First is empathy. Can you all look at the person near you and say empathy? Show me some empathy. If you can say that, if you're Ruby, you can say that, show me some empathy. If it's your teacher, hold her leg and say, please show me some empathy. Right? Now, first is empathy. Right? I'm going to tell you one story when I'm speaking about empathy. Something I've heard some time back. When Russians were invading the Serbians, this is a story I've heard. I don't know. I don't know the authenticity of it, but I'll just go with the story. Russians were invading the Serbians. They were under their colony. Now, what Russians used to do is that Russians crash into the country anytime, take whatever they want, and then go back. Okay? Now, within Russia, there was a Catholic nuns monastery. Now that's in a village, and there's a nuns monastery over there. Outside the village, there are villagers used to live. Now Russians crashed into this village once. Now when they came in, what they did is that they went and raped the women in the village. Because they are soldiers, these are more of like their occupied country, they can do whatever havoc they want. That's a kind of notion. They just went and raped a lot of women. It went bad. They went back. These women who were raped, some of them got pregnant, and only place that they can go to was this monastery. For some reason, monastery was safe. Probably Russians thought it's okay. No, let's not get into this monastery. It might have a international repercussion playing with, So let's not do anything with these bunch of nuns over here. So this woman who was raped and pregnant, they came to the monastery. They start crying to the nuns over there. This is what happened with our life. Some of us are pregnant. Genuinely compassionate, genuine nuns, what can they do? They would probably pat on their back and the girls and say, we can pray for you, correct? We will help you. Yes or no? Right? If you and I were the nuns and the people over there, we would have done the same, correct? Genuine. We are all genuinely loving. We want to do that. Some of the nuns probably would have touched this woman and said, I understand what you're going through. You might have heard that, correct? Let me ask you a question. Can she understand? Can she ever understand? Can she in her million lives understand? Answer is no. That's where the word empathy comes into the picture. Not everyone can understand our life. We can say, I understand. Believe me, I can probably tell you I understand you a lot, but never in a lifetime. The family you have brought in, how it is happening in your mother and father, what happened with your sibling. You might be unwell, you might be sick, you might be going through, you don't know how to pay your fees next month. I might never understand any of us. Some of the people who have gone through similar things might understand, right? The nuns are loving and genuine, but they might never understand. The story goes like this. Few months went by, the same Russians crashed into the village again. They were drunk. This time what they did was even more, I would say even more bad. Every time it was the same bad. This time they crashed into the monastery as well and raped the nuns over there. In the courtyard and the pouches and and they went off. Nuns are people generally, they don't get married. They have a vows that they will never get into a sexual thing in their life. They will never get married. They would have children. That's the kind of a vow they take. Now they all lost their vows. They're being raped, and there was pin drop silence in the monastery for weeks. You get it? You get it with me? Weeks it is going by. Out of the blue, they realized one of her young nuns is actually pregnant. Now everyone are crying. They don't know what to do. They don't have a setup of bringing up a child over there. And what they finally suggest is that why don't you go back to your father's home? Where you come from? Maybe she came from some other country altogether. Go back to your father's home. And they might understand you that this is what happened, and you are now you can't be part of the monastery and things like that. This young nun walks out of the monastery. She takes her way to her home. As and when she was starting, she realized something. And she decided something, that she would not go back home. Instead, she goes back to that village. And goes back to that very lady who was pregnant before. And goes to her and says, I understand. And rest of her life, she lived over there. Brought up her children over there. Now, point number one. When I say empathy, Jesus opted to take the worst in a human life can go through. But he was not born as a son of Akbar the Great or Alexander the Great. He opted to be born. He opted in. Cowshed you see, this inn you see, the mother who is not married woman else, right? Society would look at Mary and say probably call her what? Unimpressed. Or probably Jesus all through his life when he was growing as a 2-year-old kid, 3-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid, when he was going to school, walking back, doing this, doing that, whatever people might be gossiping. You know what? That guy is a bastard. Probably yes or no? Because no one knows who is this. And you know what she says? God conceived her. That's the best gossip thing. Probably correct. You know what? She says, God conceived her. Empathy. And then on, all the life of Jesus you see is everything towards all of us. When you close your eyes and take a moment to pray, God, this is the mess I am in. I am in this situation. God, you won't understand. Leave me. Christmas is about a time where God can say, I understand. And you all say, probably, if you have palm like this and say, that's interesting, that's good. Okay? How different it is when you go to God and say, God, I'm into this. He said, I understand my son. I understand my daughter. First thing about Christmas is, you are now meeting a God who can show to empathy on your life. And He wanted to do that. That's why He chose this journey. Amazing, correct? You take any course of your life. There would be good people around you trying to help you. But the best of the best would be a person, probably you just have to, a second away, a bathroom away. Sometimes when you go to the washroom, close your doors and say, God, and then, you do that happen. And that's where you have a God who is there for empathy. And his life, if we know about it, he was brought up like that. He lived a life of simplicity. You understand that he was eventually being naked. A lot of us, when you put a cross and put Christ on it, you have some clothes on him. But if you really study the scripture and the Bible and some of the historians, he was actually naked on the cross. A man completely naked on the cross. He was nailed. Roman crucifixion is not like the way you think. It is not never nailed in the hands. It is always nailed in the wrist. You cannot hold a person on the palm. You hold a person on the knees, on the wrist. You have 2 nails going through the wrist. You have 1 nail going through the legs. And now listen to this. All of this was not accident. It was voluntarily chosen by God because He wanted to tell you something. I understand. Don't ever think, in our childhood days we have heard that, someone said Shivaji Ganeshan, one old superstar, to act as a superhero like a Jesus Christ in one of a movie, and he had a condition. This is what I have heard, I don't know. Like when he says that everything happens, finally Jesus on the cross, and I'm Shivaji Ganeshan on the cross, and someone would come and say, now if you are son of God, come down. That time I have to come down. You guys are with me? That's not what the story of Jesus. His heroism was to die on the cross, regardless with all the power, where he can choose not to die. He can choose to be a Rajinikanth or Superman and come out and do something, but he has a power not to choose that, but to suffer the pain and die. Empathy. Can we go to the next slide? Just a little more time on here. Second is from my personal life. Mentor and confident. We know confident is a word we know, mentor is a word we know. We keep hearing this, correct? In your schools and colleges. Nowadays, offices, you have a mentor. I have a mentor, I am a mentee. Now, we all are into this, correct? Now, second thing what Christmas does to our life is, it is not just that God is born showing empathy. He's also trying to give you He's trying to actually hold you and guide you. Get it? It's not that you're fallen and leave you all, but helping you with His strength. You get it? That's a beautiful thing. It's not that I am teaching you quantum mechanics and you go your way. Actually, I'm trying to guide you in that. In my life, this happened. That's why I'm so sure about it might happen in a lot of your lives as well. At the age of, when I was studying 5th standard, I flunked. I flunked in my 5th standard. And the reason I flunked in 5th standard was not because I was so bad at 5th, I was bad in 3rd, 4th and 5th. 3rd, once first time it gets pushed, second time it gets pushed. 5th standard I was flunked. The day I understood that the greatest mentor I need in my life is someone who genuinely would guide me. A lot of the things, it's like a snake and ladder. You don't understand where it goes, correct? You have to make a lot of complex decisions. You have to know what next step you have to make in your life. You don't know what you have to do after KJC. You don't even know where you have to go today, right? Now, you and I need a lot of guidance. And that's what actually the Bible does, that's what God does. He is actually a God who will guide you and lead you. A closest friend. Confident means someone who knows everything about you but keeps it silent and walks with you. Right? If my wife knows everything about me, how good it would be, right? It's not easy to walk along with a person who knows everything about you. But God does that. How mess you have done, can understand that. Let's go to the final point. Okay, beautiful word. The power of this word is like an atom bomb, correct? I think India and Pakistan no longer can have a fight if Indians can forgive, Pakistanis can forgive. You and your mom can talk if you are ready to forgive or feel ready to forgive. I don't say, I'm not comparing you and your mom as Indian Pakistan. But you understand, many times we have the phones, but the clicking on the green button is not possible for us. Why? Because of the egos and the hardness of our heart that we can't forgive. That's one level. Second thing is what? I had many years in my life where I was never able to forgive my dad. It went for years. And it happened only in my life where I got forgiven and I realized that I need more forgiveness than I forgive someone. You see the beauty? I speak about family life, right? There were days I probably would have slept in the couch. If you ever get married, you understand that you don't always sleep together. If you get angry, you get messed up, you go to the couch. But believe me, never I ended up sleeping in the couch just because a woman, my wife, was able to get up and just let go and call me back into the room. You get it? Amazing, is it, right? Because she was ready to let go while I was still so adamant in what I was holding on. What happened, the third thing that happens on a Christmas is a time to realize that I can forgive you, not me. God is telling I can forgive you what you have done, whatever mess you have done, wherever you are being. There are things you can't tell others. You have messed your life, you have messed the relationship, you have done things you can't tell others. And you know what happens? God is saying, when I died on the cross for you, I was just forgiving you. on whatever I and you have done. Forgiveness. As I close, three things I said really. Three things happen on Christmas. Prepare what I spoke was this. What was the purpose? It was God's effort to speak to all of us. Correct? He became a human. He was captured, he was born on a Christmas day, probably December 25th or whatever time he was born, right? But the most important thing is not about he was born, but the important question is why he was born. And why he was born? One, that he can show. Can you all say it loudly? One, empathy, correct? Second,
Mentor.
he can be a guide in your life. Third,
Forgive.
he will forgive you and change your life. Right? Some of you might be thinking, right, you need a truce with God. You might be in trenches today in war with God, correct? Today might be a day you can come up with your white flag and believe me, your God on the other side is not ready to shoot you, but to have shaken hands with you. Right? So I want to wish you all of us a Merry Christmas. I hope there is something that you had all to learn from me, from what I shared. Right? So thank you. God bless all of you.